Electron is on the pad at Launch Complex 1, and we are counting down to our final launch of the year, a dedicated mission for Synspective. Hello and welcome to Launch Day. My name is Muriel Baker and I'm a Senior Communications Manager here at RocketLAb. And along with Catherine, we'll be taking you through the count today as we go to space for the 58th time.
Thanks, Muriel. My name is Catherine Chen and I'm a Flight Dynamics Engineer in the Space Systems team. It's great to be joining you for our 16th and final launch of 2024. In just 17 minutes, Electron will be going all the way up to deploy a single StriX spacecraft for our mission partners, Synspective, a Japanese Earth observation company. Liftoff is scheduled for 3:17 local or 14:17 UTC, and so far we're on track for an on-time launch.
Now, unfortunately, yesterday we stood down from our launch attempt due to an out-of-family sensor reading, but we are back today and ready to go to space. So today's launch will be our 6th mission for Synspective out of a total of 16 missions that they have booked on Electron. Our first launch for them was in December 2020, and we are proud to have been the sole launch provider for their constellation to date. So it's an honour to be back on the pad for them once again this morning.
So those of you with a keen memory will have noticed a distinct theme running through all of our Synspective missions to date, and that's the fact that they all reference owls. Our first launch for Synspective was dubbed The Owl's Night Begins, and we followed this up with The Owl's Night Continues, The Owl Spreads Its Wings, Owl Night Long, Owl for One and One for Owl, which of course brings us to today, Owl the Way Up.
So what is with all of the owls? Well, Synspective's satellites go by the name StriX, which is a genus of owls. And with at least 10 more Synspective launches on the books, this is far from the last owl-themed mission that you will hear about. Now, today's mission will deploy a single StriX satellite to orbit, which is what we call a dedicated mission. And this puts Synspective in control of their launch schedule, their orbital parameters, and other mission specifics that allows them to tailor the launch precisely to what they need.
Buenas, nos volvemos a encontrar con otro lanzamiento, pero en esta ocasión con uno de la empresa RocketLAb y su misión On the Way Up. RocketLAb despliega con éxito un satélite para Synspective y cierra el año con un aumento del 60% en los lanzamientos interanuales. Mahia, Nueva Zelanda. 22 de diciembre de 2024 RocketLAb Estados Unidos, líder mundial en servicios de lanzamiento y sistemas espaciales, anunció hoy que completó con éxito el decimosexto lanzamiento de la compañía en el año, desplegando un satélite para el operador japonés de constelaciones de observación de la Tierra Synspective. La misión On the Way Up despegó del complejo de lanzamiento 1 de RocketLAb en Mahia, Nueva Zelanda, el 22 de diciembre a las 3:17 y desplegó un solo satélite StriX en órbita desde el vehículo de lanzamiento Electron. La misión fue la sexta de un total de 16 lanzamientos reservados en Electron para Synspective, una empresa de observación de la Tierra que opera una constelación de satélites de radar de apertura sintética, SAR, diseñados para proporcionar imágenes que pueden detectar cambios a nivel milimétrico en la superficie de la Tierra desde el espacio. RocketLAb realizó el primer lanzamiento para Synspective en diciembre de 2020 y ha sido el único proveedor de lanzamiento para la constelación de Synspective hasta la fecha. Los pequeños satélites SAR de Synspective, StriX, están equipados con un sensor de radar de apertura sintética, SAR, que puede observar la superficie de la Tierra en cualquier condición climática, de día o de noche. No se ve afectado por las nubes ni la lluvia. El SAR es adecuado para el monitoreo constante de desastres y cambios detallados para proteger la infraestructura crítica y otras instalaciones. Algunos ejemplos de casos de uso incluyen detectar anomalías en carreteras, ferrocarriles, energía y otras infraestructuras, lo que se traduce en menores costes de mantenimiento y riesgo de accidentes. Monitorear las condiciones de crecimiento de los cultivos y analizar la salud del suelo y la vegetación para ayudar a reducir los costos y aumentar la eficiencia para los agricultores. Detectar la tala y la pesca ilegal en las zonas más remotas del mundo. Proporcionar una evaluación rápida de los daños después de inundaciones, deslizamientos de tierra y erupciones volcánicas, así como una evaluación de los riesgos de hundimiento de tierras. Permitiendo la vigilancia constante del tráfico marítimo, las actividades fronterizas y otras amenazas potenciales a la seguridad, y fomentando el conocimiento del ámbito marítimo. Analizar la cobertura arbórea para calcular la absorción de CO2 y los créditos de carbono. El fundador y director ejecutivo de RocketLAb, Sir Peter Beck, afirma, una vez más, Synspective ha logrado un éxito en su misión, lo que pone fin a nuestro año de lanzamientos más activo hasta la fecha. Esperamos seguir aumentando nuestra cadencia de lanzamientos en el nuevo año a medida que fortalecemos la posición de Electron como el cohete pequeño líder a nivel mundial y también ingresamos al mercado de lanzamientos medianos con el debut de Neutron. En 2024, lanzamos misiones para la NASA y la NRO, Implementamos múltiples misiones para operadores de constelaciones comerciales como Synspective, lanzamos misiones suborbitales hasta que mejoran la capacidad de prueba de vuelo hipersónico. Para colmo, logramos una primicia mundial al lanzar 2 misiones desde 2 hemisferios diferentes en menos de 24 horas. RocketLAb lanzó 16 misiones en 2024, superando el récord de lanzamiento anual anterior de la empresa de 10 misiones, logrado en 2023 y que representa un aumento de la cadencia de lanzamiento del 60% interanual. RocketLAb mantuvo un récord de éxito de misión del 100% para todos los lanzamientos en 2024. El lanzamiento ascendente All the Way fue el último lanzamiento programado de RocketLAb para 2024 y el próximo lanzamiento de Electron está programado para el primer trimestre de 2025. Continuemos con el lanzamiento.
IFTS screen, enable for flight. Workload is complete. Systems in recirculation. Anti-gathering is disabled.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 tanks are pressed for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Getting good job. Enter H7 2. HVB discharge is nominal. Cleared max Q. Stage separation confirmed.
Stage 2 ignition confirmed.
There we go. Successful MECO stage separation and second stage ignition confirmed. Now, Electron's vacuum-optimized Rutherford engine will continue to burn for another 7 minutes from here, taking us all the way to orbit. And then up next is a milestone called fairing separation or fairing jettison. And this is where the two halves of the protective carbon composite fairing that covers the satellite on the way to orbit splits apart and falls away to expose the payload to space.
Fairing jettison succeeded.
There we have it. Fairing jettison has been successful. Now, Synspective's 6th satellite is exposed to space in preparation for deployment. Now, with just 5.5 minutes remaining in the second stage burn, we're at an altitude of over 127 kilometers. The second stage burn will be complete at around 9 minutes into the mission, so we have a few minutes remaining here yet.
Battery jettison confirmed.
Hot swap successful.
A fresh battery pack is now in place and battery hot swap has been successful. All that remains now is SECO, or second engine cutoff, when the Rutherford engine on Electron's second stage shuts down in preparation for kick stage separation. We're at 6 minutes into flight and that SECO is scheduled for just after 9 minutes, so just a few minutes to go.
The kick stage and StriX now enter a coast phase for around 42 minutes. And once they're at apogee, the kick stage's 3D printed Curie engine will ignite and complete the final leg of the mission, which is payload circularization and then payload deployment. So with that, we'll let the kick stage enjoy its tour around the world while we take a break, and we'll see you back here for payload deployment soon.
La misión fue el decimosexto lanzamiento de RocketLAb en el año y el sexto lanzamiento hasta la fecha para la empresa japonesa de observación de la Tierra Synspective. Si llegaste hasta acá te pido que dejes un like y que te suscribas al canal, así estás informado del mundo espacial. Te envío un abrazo y nos vemos en el próximo lanzamiento.
Welcome back to our 58th Electron launch, All the Way Up, a dedicated launch for Japanese SAR constellation operator Synspective. Electron lifted off successfully at 3:16 local time, and after 9 minutes of flight, deployed a kick stage with the Synspective payload attached to a nominal transfer orbit as planned.
For the past 40 minutes, the kick stage has been coasting around the globe to reach a precise apogee in preparation for a final engine burn ahead of payload deployment. Now, that burn will be carried out by the Curie engine, which is a small but mighty 3D printed engine produced in-house by our team. Now, we've got a Curie nozzle right here, actually, so you can see it really is a tiny engine, but it packs an efficient punch on orbit to give the kick stage that final nudge to a circular orbit. Now, it's a particularly useful engine because it's realizable, and that gives us the ability to do multiple burns on orbit to deploy several satellites to different orbits on the same mission by performing orbit raising and orbit lowering maneuvers. Now, today's mission calls for one circularization burn to deploy one satellite and then a second burn to lower the perigee afterwards. So let's listen in for the call that the Curie ignition has taken place.
Curie ignition confirmed.
That's the call we want to hear from Mission Control. The Curie engine has successfully ignited and the orbit raising maneuver is underway. This burn will last about 2.5 minutes, placing the kick stage into a precise orbit ready for payload deployment. We will be listening out for the Curie shutdown confirmation, followed very shortly after by a successful payload deployment. So let's pass it back to Mission Control.
Curie engine cutoff confirmed.
And that is a
Target switch
successful
orbit achieved.
shutdown of the Curie engine. So Synspective satellite is now all the way up in orbit and now just around 45 seconds away from deployment.
Payload deployment confirmed.
Welcome to Orbit StriX. Once again, we've delivered mission success for the team at Synspective. Electron has now deployed 6 satellites to orbit for Synspective, and we look forward to many more missions together in the weeks and years to come.
Since this is our final mission of the year, let's do a quick recap of the numbers for 2024. So today's launch was our 58th mission and our 16th of the year, beating our previous annual launch record of 10 missions in 2023. And now we have deployed more than 200 satellites to orbit on Electron.
That's right. So, most of this year's launches took place from LC-1 in Mahia, our private orbital launch site, but we also conducted 3 missions from LC-2 in Virginia. It's a great feeling to deliver another record year, and we can't wait to build on this with even more Electron and HASTE missions in 2025, and we're especially excited for Neutron's debut launch too.
For now, though, that is a wrap on today's launch coverage. Thank you so much for joining us as always. And from all of us here at RocketLAb, we wish you a wonderful festive season.
Stay tuned to our social media channels for mission updates on the next launch. And until then, for the final time in 2024, this is RocketLAb Mission Control signing off.